Hey, beautiful people. This is Romone and Monica Jones, sponsored by
Much to Say.
The Naked Perspective. You can't handle the perspective.
But if you think you can, let's get started.
Hey, beautiful people. We are so happy and excited. Well, that was a little loud. I just felt like I just came out the gate strong there. But listen, this is Romone. And I got my lovely wife, Monica. She's in the studio, and we are excited. KKVV 1060 AM is here. We're excited because there's just so many wonderful things that we are doing, and excited to just be with you. And thank you so much for tuning in and being supportive of this broadcast for the time that we've been able to do it. It's been fun. We've learned a lot, and just been able to just really share, from experience, brought people on here and those types of things. And we initiated it because we just wanted to, I think, share some things about Much to Say, right? Yeah. And our platform that we do, which is really where our heart is really just really helping marriages and helping those that are looking for, some helpful insights.
And some support,
And so, once again, if you ever want to look into what we do, you can go to much2say.com. Again, that website is much, MUCH, 2say.com. And you can look at all of our free resources. You can look at our upcoming singles retreat we have coming up. This is not that.
This is not that.
All right, and those dates are
September the 20th through the 21st.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. We got some young people and older that are excited about being in the place. And
all ages.
The ages are for the mature. So you have to be a mature status. And
what does mature mean?
18 and above. 18 and above, yes.
Okay.
Right, isn't it?
Yeah, but just because you're 18, does that mean
no? It doesn't mean you're mature.
That's what I mean. What do you think?
You could be 80. You could be 89 and still be immature.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could
but
be
we're gonna be talking
73
about
and immature.
some real things, some real concepts, right?
Yeah, and so when you talk about real stuff, you don't want people there that are immature, right? They're taking it as a joke when people are talking serious. So it's just if that's not you, right? Then this is not that simply as that. But however, if that is you, you're looking at some great content. You want to be a part of a great group of believers, and you want to hear the real. You want to hear what we like to refer to as the naked perspective. Talking honestly, no sugarcoating it, right?
Yeah.
You want to come to this singles event. We are Christian based, and I think that's very important. So we're not here to try to, obviously this should encourage you and your ministry. This should enhance what you're doing on your journey. This is just all that is. So if you're a pastor out there and you've been praying for something healthy, look at our content. This is what you do, right? You want to look at the content of the creators of what they stand for, what do they believe. You can go to our say.com, look at our content. You can call us up. We would love to sit down and talk with you, because I know what it feels like if something's going on. It sounds good, but you want to make sure doctrinally wise that it's legit. So you can definitely give us a call, reach out. We don't mind sharing what you're talking with you to let you know the content of what we intend to share, so the people can be blessed. And I think that's the importance, right? Is people getting something that could benefit them on their journey right now. Right, because you're on something, you're in between, or maybe you're with somebody. You're like, man, I think I would marry him or her, but I'm not sure. Right, you want to come to This Is Not That, because I think it's going to enhance and to bring some exposure therapy to some areas of your life
and liberate. Some people are bound because of their current position. You know what I mean? Like you're single, and because you're single, that has you like bound.
Wow.
Right? Like you feel like you can't be free, or you can't move in freedom until your status changes. And so I think for many people, when they come, they're going to be liberated.
What do you mean bound by their current status?
As if like that current status is wrong. You know what I mean?
Like being single?
Yeah, like being single, like it's wrong, or like it's a waiting period for something, or there's the next thing. It's almost like it's like a level. And I think we've, like level 1, you're single, and then like maybe like level 2, you're married. Like, I don't know what the levels are, but you know what I'm saying? It's like it's not quite the top. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is interesting. No, please continue to explain.
No, I'm saying learn. The Bible talks about learning how to be content in whatever state that you're in.
Yes,
okay,
there it is.
So you got to be content.
Yes.
Meaning that you may not move from that place, but can you still be who God has created you to be while you're in that state?
Yes, and it's possible.
But some people are bound and they can't do anything. They're stuck.
Yeah.
Because of the fact of they feel like until they get to another place or another juncture, they can't do maybe some of the things that are on their heart to do or be who God has called them to be. Like God, like whatever God has called them to be is contingent on their marital status.
Got it.
And that's what I'm saying. Some people will come and be liberated because we're going to be coming from a place of being the best version of you in the state that you are in. That's what this is about. Right.
That's good.
And we're not just saying stuff to be saying it, but really, what is God's intent? The Bible talks about, like Paul said, like he wished that people were like him, right? Because there's so much that you're able to do. We're married, and I love being married, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But there are certain limitations, right?
Yeah. What's one of the limitations? Because
What's
one of the limitations?
One limitation is this: if I want to go on a 40-day fast.
Yeah.
Because I'm just trusting God to
You can go
whatever.
on it. Go on the fast.
I gotta ask you though.
You do?
I gotta ask you.
That's what Scripture says.
Yeah, because the Bible says that my body don't belong to me.
Come on now, you preaching
Okay.
out. You
So,
preaching out.
We got to come into an agreement on some things.
That's correct.
And even when it comes to vision and mission and things that I want to do, I got to come into an agreement because I am a helpmeet to you, which is a wonderful thing. But that means that I don't have my own agenda, right? I am to be seeking God and seeing what it is that God has given me for you. And there is a sense of individuality, but there's another element of like we work together collectively.
Correct.
So I have to consider way more things than I would if I was single. I just do what I feel like, whatever, I want to. I make errors. It's trial and error, and it affects no one but me. But everything I do affects you and affects my family. And those considerations I have to consider.
So the status of the persons that are single, this comes from single people that have shared in regards to this. So this conference is because the singles have reached out, they've spoken
They've
up,
cried out.
and they said, hey, we need your help. And so we said, okay, we'll do this. We will use our platform, and we would do we would do this right. And so we are bringing in speakers to be able to speak to the singles. But we want to make sure this is good ground. This is going to be a solid base, and I think it's excitement because there are individuals that feel the pressure, like they're not succeeding because they're not married. They feel like, and then there's some that feel like time is running out, right? Because they're getting older, right? The clock is ticking, so to speak. And so I think there's going to be a lot of great things, and then maybe there's individuals that feel like, will there even be a possibility for me because now I have kids, or will there be love after my last challenge, or whether it was through divorce or whether it was through death. And so I believe that the God that we serve, I believe that he's able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we're able to ask or think. And I just believe that there are other individuals that are looking as well.
Yeah.
Now, this is not just to come and hook up and stuff like that, but this is.
But you can.
You can.
Listen, I'm for it.
This is the holy hookup.
This baby.
This is
We've
the holy
we've
hookup.
always wanted to have
This
a
is the
dating,
double H.
a dating.
Holy
Now, are you?
hookup.
Now you know some. I've been asking for years. We should be doing some matchmaking.
Let's do
You
it.
finally agreed to it.
I'm ready. I'm all for it. I'm for it. I'm like the young people. This is lit. This is fire. This is anything else? Is there any other phrase I can come up with? This is lit. This is fire. That's all I got right now.
Yeah, no, we're gonna. It's gonna be a little bit of everything. And we believe in having a good time. So we do believe in instilling, teaching, liberating. But we also we would just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
So if you come and you have a little twinkle in your eye, that's what single folks. Here's
Come
my
on.
thing. Let single folks do what single folks
Come
do.
on. I
We
love
ain't
it.
trying to put nobody's little fire out. Trying to
on.
take the twinkle out of nobody's eye. Listen.
Yeah.
You got to get out there to meet people.
And I encourage anybody out there, once again, listen, if you know you have singles that are you
Come
connected
on.
to and you're not doing nothing on this type of level, the great thing you could do is you could partner and call us. We want to work with you because this is what we have to start doing. We have to start helping. And if things are being
Supporting,
y'all go to Disneyland, y'all go to Disney World, y'all support them, and they don't sit down and tell you nothing about Jesus Christ. Come on, somebody. You go to McDonald's, you go support all these things, but
They don't care nothing about your life past when you leave them gates.
Nah, and when other believers are trying to do something that's solid, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're not doing it, right?
Yeah.
Then it exposes them to other opportunities. And so one of the things I would recommend, again, is go to our website. You can also call us. We're right here in Las Vegas. We have phones, right? We can set up a time to Zoom call or video call or whatever your preference is. We can meet up. If you're a pastor or whatever the case may be, and you want to bring some singles, but you want to make sure I understand. Again, when you're looking at connecting with somebody, you want to make sure it is what it is. Listen, go to our website, say.com, say.com. Look at all of our content, and then you can also sit down and dialogue with us. All right, because this is very important. This can be life changing for someone. This can be someone not losing hope, right? And this is so important. And sometimes we think it's going to come through one vehicle,
That's right.
and one vessel, and God will use someone totally different, someone that doesn't look like you, someone that didn't come from your background, but it's still God's word. We have to trust God. The Bible says, "Trust the Lord with all your heart, and lean not to your own understanding." Your own understanding may be A, B, C, D, but trust God in this moment. And then for you that get some groups get discounts. So if you have 4 people, you get a discount. All right. If you come by yourself, you got to pay. You would pay more than what you would be doing if you came with 4 people. So just keep that in mind. What a great opportunity to come with your boys, with your girls. Let's have a great time here in Las Vegas. We're local for those that are here. If you're coming out of city, out of state, what a great opportunity to take a vacation in September 20th and 21st.
That's right. That's it.
What you think?
I'm excited.
Well,
I'm
good.
so excited.
Well, listen.
Miss Safana Samples, I mean, we didn't drop the name, but she is, listen, if you do not know who she is, go on YouTube and Google, put her name in the search bar, Miss Safana Samples. Go to My Dear Future Wifey. She was a guest on his show, and she's been around for quite a long time. But her outlook on singleness is just, it's phenomenal. It ministered to me, and I'm married. So she's going to come and she's going to share with us. It's just going to be a wonderful event.
Yeah, I think that's important. Well, what can we talk about for these next 14 minutes?
13 minutes.
And I think that sometimes is maybe the consistency or the commitment to a relationship is what causes, relationships to stay strong, right? Because they go through so many things, communication, things of that nature, right? How does relationships stay strong? You see people, someone said last night, married 51 years, right? And you look at this stuff and, you realize everybody's story is different. People have experienced different things at various times in life. But what is keeping people strong in these times that we live in? Because we're living in some crazy times, you know what I mean? From things we're hearing in the news, from personal things to local things in the news. Just things are just different, it feels like. And matter of fact, one scripture says that in the last days they will be forbidding to marriage. Like, don't get married. People be saying, don't do it. Don't do it. So what is, the believer or the person that is trying to do it right, what do they lean on, to remain strong, you know what I mean, and not lose that zing, so to speak, for their spouse?
You asking me?
Well, yeah.
Well, I would say what I lean on when I feel like times get tough or, like you said, living in the day and time we're living in, is that I try to remember, and I remember, that's the first part, I have to remember. Because when you look at your current situation, like you said, what's going on, it's easy to forget why you're even doing what you're doing. And so I like to remember the principles for why we even got together, why we got together, and the reason why we are together. And when I reflect in my mind, because those principles I still honor today. And this is why it's important to build things off morals, values, principles, beliefs, because those things should never change, even when your feelings do.
Right.
And I feel as if what we do as people, we're swayed by the wind, by our circumstance. And so from one day we're feeling up, the next day we're feeling down, and then we react and we behave off that rather than remember what the foundation for why we're even doing this. And so for me, that's been very helpful through tough times, that sometimes I'll just look at you, and times where I like, I know I'm sure you want to throttle me and I want to throttle you, but I'm like, why am I even doing this? And when I remember those things and consider those things, it gives me a whole different perspective of not only what it is, what I'm dealing with in this current time, but how to navigate through it.
Yeah, I like that. So so remembering is important. But you said things like values and things of the nature. Can someone's values change?
Now, I don't like being interviewed. You gonna do this for the rest of the 10 minutes?
No. This is my last question for you. Then I'm gonna. No.
Well, what you think the answer is? We're gonna co-interview.
Well, when it comes
no,
to
give me your How do you navigate through tough times? Because I'm sure I'm not your peach every single day.
Well, I'm drinking peach drink right now.
Yeah,
too.
but
It's
you know what
pretty
I'm
good.
saying?
It's
Like,
actually pretty good.
How do you navigate?
Shout out to Restoration Church.
Yes, the best church
Yes. Shout out to
Nevada.
Them. Yes, and you look beautiful today.
Thank
I must
you.
Say. Yes,
you trying to set me up?
Yes, I'm
Go
trying
ahead,
to set you
set me up.
All right, so
but no, when times get tough, the day and time you're living in, sir.
Yes.
How do you reconcile? Fighting.
I think it's what you said. It's like what is it really built upon, right?
Yeah.
And I think that every relationship, no matter what, will be tested, and some things are not. They're probably not as concrete as you thought they were. Like money. Got to have a bunch of money or this and that, because things can change. You realize that. You realize certain things that when you're younger, someone can be, this, that, look, and or but some of that stuff goes out the window. You realize you want things that the communication, someone that's able to respect and hear and hear you out, because if you're going through a bunch of stuff in your life, if you deal with a bunch of different seasons, sometimes you want somebody that is respectful just to listen and talk to you through those seasons. Not always, because it's going to be, if it's new for them, it may most likely be new for that spouse as well.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, like, I know when we lost my mom, right?
Yeah.
That was new for me, but that was new for you, for your husband losing his mom, right? So I think that it's things of that nature that we just sometimes understanding those things that are very helpful in the value of communication or caring and being there. I think those things that we just can't replace. Things and stuff can come and go, but the simplicity things that God has put in place that look simple, but they're very valuable. And once you remove them, you realize how quick. Like that thread in your outfit, you pull it and you realize, like, doggone it, it's not going to stop, And so I think it's those things of that nature. It's communication, right? Love, being sincere. And sometimes life can make us cold in those areas, and we got to find it again. We got to find it again. We got to find how.
How do you find? We say the term love, and we know there's so many definitions to love, but for those that have been together, and I think some of our first definitions of love, depending on what season you are in a relationship, has a lot to do with the way you feel about somebody, right? That I feel a certain way about someone that I don't feel, with someone else. And then we have that be our definition of love. And then as relationships evolve, grow, and mature, you start to really understand what love is. But I would say to those that are transitioning from a season of kind of like newness, where your love is based off of feeling, how do you keep pushing and remember what is when you don't necessarily always have those feelings?
Yeah, great question. Sometimes we just got to, I think it's part of getting older. I would say that it's not always about feelings. There's a lot of things that we do that we don't have the feelings for. It's just part of our responsibility, and we know that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And being there for someone is the right thing to do. Someone calling me at 2 a.m. in the morning and saying, hey, I'm going through this, or hey, Pastor, it's not because I really want to answer the phone. It's probably just the right thing to do, right? And so I think that sometimes we got to look at in our lives with our spouses or our relationships and say, hey, what's the right thing to do? Really, what's the right thing? If I was to reap this, would I want that? Is it the right thing to do? And so you reap what you sow. But then also I believe that, I always would say this because this is a Christian radio broadcast, is going back to Jesus Christ. We were talking about it today in service in Revelations chapter 2, that as the church Ephesus left their first love. And I think that a lot of times what we do is we continue to work and we continue to be like the very machines we create, that are intelligent, but they have no feelings to it, right? We're like, if we don't be careful, we could be Christian AI, where we're able to give the right answers, but we have no feelings and nothing attached with the response. And so I believe that comes by just spending time with God, allowing him to really touch our hearts and going back to that place of genuine love. Because we're people, and we got to be honest with our pains. We got to be honest with what we're going through. But so does our spouse. You know what I mean? And I think once we lose that, the art and of communication, I think things will definitely be more challenged. Things will be. Think about it. Ever since the fall of humanity, it was only because they did what God didn't tell them to do, and now the communication with God was strained. And I believe that's just one of the enemy's plights, is if I can get the communication strained within that home, between that dad and the son, between that mother and that daughter, between that man and that woman, well, then everything else will follow. You know what I'm saying? Why would somebody be sensitive to somebody that doesn't listen? Why would somebody be sensitive to someone that didn't hear them when they spoke or didn't value what they had to say?
Yeah, and I was thinking too, just as you were talking, talking about how do you navigate through certain things. And this is anything I say here, this is not the first time you've heard it. But the Bible also talks about, if you're not willing to suffer with them or willing to be persecuted, you're not going to be able to reign. A lot of people serve Christ out of convenience. There's a love they say they have for them until it's time, till the rubber meets the road. And one of the things I know with us, a lot of things have been sobering for us. And I would say one of our strongest suits, which is like how I know at the end of the day, we love each other despite feelings or, emotions, is that when times get rough and we go through challenges, it's almost like that's where we're knitted together even the more.
Right. Yeah.
It's not the opposite. Some people are knitted together when things are well, right? But I see our true foundational selves of the qualities that we so love about each other really come out when times get tough. And it's been a tough week.
Sure.
One of the probably toughest weeks that we've had in a very long time. And just to see how we were knitted together in unity, not tearing one another down, but trying to figure out how do I support each other? How do we get? And I'm saying that's what I remember.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that, if the Lord be willing, we're going to be married 24 years.
24 years. Yeah.
24 years.
I did it.
You did what, baby?
I was married 24 years. I did it.
Yeah. It's the longest in my family of anybody who's been married.
And again, it's no testament of ourselves.
No.
Although we do have to participate. And
you got to participate.
I think that we have to give some type of credit in there to us as people, that you have to participate. God gives us these biblical principles and these beautiful, concepts to help us. But if you don't work them, I could tell you all day that fishing pole and that bait is amazing, and it catch you some crappies and catch you some salmon. But at the end of the day, is if you don't work it and do what has been said, you may not get the results. And so, God has been good. But I concur. Sometimes our relationships go through challenging moments and things that maybe there's not necessarily a lot of answers to in that moment, right? But it can pull you together or push you away.
And it's always pulled us. I feel like always.
Well, I think, but again, I think it goes to the working through, navigating through things beforehand. Yeah. Because if you're always constantly at each other's throats, not listening, when something major happens, you're not going to be in a good place. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's going to be disastrous for somebody or be totally over. It may be the breaking point that brings you back together. You don't
have nothing to draw from if you haven't made any deposits any other time.
You constantly nitpicking and all this stuff, and then something happens, God forbid, something that's very drastic, and I think we just got to do better as people that's working in these areas that we know, to stop walking away, stop going into the room, isolating yourself, stop doing these things that are not beneficial. Your feelings may not necessarily be there, but do the right thing. And years ago, I asked God, how long do you got to do the right thing? Sometimes this is challenging because I'm doing it. I'm trying to do right, trying not perfect. It seems like the more I'm trying to do right, people are trying to do the wrong thing. And the response was forever. And so the way God does right is He does right forever. Yeah. He can't be unjust ever. And so as people, we should have that same type of attitude and spirit towards our spouse. It takes work, and it's not for the faint of heart. Marriage is a real thing, but it definitely is supposed to be a testimony of Christ and the bride, the church, so should the man and the woman in this world. And we need more templates. We need more godly templates that it's possible. Singles need to see it.
Because for the next generation, it's looking bleak.
Yeah,
as far as the
children
way
need to see it.
stuff.
We need to see it. We need to see it. If not, then they're going to be calling marriage living together and not doing nothing official, or just saying it because they are. So I'm glad and excited for what God is doing, not just in our life, but in the life of others. Well, we got to go. We're down to 20 seconds. But listen, we hope everyone, you stay hydrated, stay encouraged. There's so much that we want to be able to share with you.
Yeah.
Check us out, Much to Say, say.com. Don't forget, we have that conference coming up. We want to see you.
Get your
We
tickets.
want to shake your hands. But before then, have a wonderful day. And the Lord says the same. See you soon. God bless.
Well, were you able to handle the perspective? Thank you for listening to another segment of The Naked Perspective.
If you would like to see or hear more of us, or if you would like to get in touch with us, please visit our website at www.much2say.com.
Wow, that show you just heard